The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Hello and welcome to Spa Francorchamps in the Belgian Ardennes. The legendary circuit plays host to round 7 of the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli. And from Eau Rouge, one of the most feared and renowned corners on the planet, the drivers will take on this awesome, winding, twisting and tricky race circuit. We're looking at the action in the GT and GTB classes here. Spa producing fantastic racing as always, a real challenge for all the drivers. Since the start of the season, the SuperGT Championship leaders have been Nicolas van Dierendonck and Jeffrey van Hooijdonk with their GT2 Chevy Corvette. They qualified with a time of 2 minutes 17.5. That looks to be good for their 7th pole position of the season, until the time was utterly decimated by Team Raceart. Kelvin Snooks able to squeeze full potential out of the SRT Viper. A 2:16.1 the result to claim a resounding pole.
Ja, was echt een super
Was
rondje.
a super lap, says Calvin. 16.1, fastest on the screens. I even managed to set a 15.6, but that didn't count because I exceeded the track limits. That's a shame, but still the quickest lap ever in this track in the Supercar Challenge, so pretty impressive. With both poles for the weekend in the hands of Roger Grauls and Kelvin Snooks, again 2 points to the championship contenders. They now are 13 points behind. Number 3 in the standings is Henry Zumbrink. The Volvo S60 V8 lines up in 4th place after qualifying. So pole goes to the Team Raceart Viper, their 5th time this season starting in the front, and reigning champion Roger Grauls will do the first stint. Points leader Nicolas van Dierendonck starts on the outside of the front row of the grid on home soil for the Belgian SRT racing team. There's another Pro-Am combination lining up third. Guest drivers in this Lamborghini Gallardo GT3, Yasser Shaheen and Thomas Enger from the Czech Republic. Henry Zumbrink lines up 4th. He can no longer win the championship, but he's hoping to add to his 5 wins so far this season. Massive grid as ever at Spa with the Super GT and GTB to the fore. The Super Sport and Sport classes behind. On board in 6th position, we're with Max Cobalt. Alongside him, Niels Bohaus in the BMW. And right in front is that brand new Lamborghini Gallardo of Thomas Enger. Pace to the line. Red lights are on. Waiting. And away we go, and a very good start indeed from Max Cobalt. That's a great getaway on the inside. Roger Grauls controlling the run up to the first corner. With Max Cobalt, Niels Bohaus in the BMW on the inside, but the advantage for the Volvos is in straight line horsepower. Look in front, Henry Zumbrink straight by Thomas Enger, and we tuck in behind. 5th place as Zumbrink is in 3rd in front of the Gallardo, chasing up the Kemmel Straight now. Looking back, there's Thomas Enger. Henry Zumbrink in 3rd place. The Corvette in front. He's got a really good run on the Corvette as well. Looks outside, looks inside as Van Dierendonck controls the racing line. Zumbrink sends it up the inside. Enger looking to follow. Can't get through past the Corvette. So the Volvo up to 2nd. Corvette down to 3rd. Lamborghini in 4th. Volvo in 5th position. That's the 2nd car of Max Cobalt. And he got by this man, Niels Bohaus. Bohaus in 6th place, starting the drop down now into the valley, through this wooded valley. This new part of the circuit opened in the 1980s, cuts off a lot of the old road racing track here at Spa Francorchamps, rejoins it when you get right down to the very bottom. With a long double left-hander, trying to keep the tyres on this first lap from doing too much work before they really get up to temperature. But it's important not to lose too many places. Bohaus down the inside. Retakes 5th position from Max Cobalt. He caught Cobalt a little bit by surprise there. Cobalt perhaps watching the Corvette in front. Piff Paff there, good place for passing. Still dropping down the valley to the lowest point of the circuit, Stavelot. And as they start the climb, the old road circuit comes in on the left-hand side just there. And this is the wheel tracks now of the drivers of the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and 70s. on the phenomenal old race circuit. Approaching the fastest corner on the circuit. Blanchiment, just a little lift there so you don't run out too wide. You can see Niels Bohaus trying to shape up a move into the bus stop, goes the long way around the outside of the Corvette for fourth. And is there room for Max Cobalt to find a way through as well? Gets a little run out of the bus stop on the inside. Down into the hairpin, the first corner on the track. La Source, and he goes by the BMW as well. Hear the transmission chuntering as he locks up. That's a good pass, and it looks like the Corvette's following him through as well. Here's Bohaus. There is the Corvette alongside. The Corvette and the BMW both a little bit outpowered by the Volvo. 17-year-old Max Cobalt back up to fourth place, but he'll soon drop out with a recurrence of the problems they had in Zandvoort.
Ja, zeker een leuke race gisteren.
Super race, said Max. Great battle with Niels Bohaus and the BMW Z4. In the end, I had to let him go. He's much quicker in the corners and they can brake later as well. Unfortunately, we don't have that benefit with the Volvo. Our strong point is really engine power, obviously. But unfortunately, after a couple of laps, drive shaft broke and that was the end of our race. Bit of a shame, really. Problems too for the championship leaders. Now, this is the first time they've had an issue with the Corvette all season. And they will score no points in race one. Turning into the hairpin at La Source, I had a strange noise from the rear of the car. That worried me. I took it very easy and just cruised back to the pit lane, says Nicolas van Dierendonk. I knew it was serious. And turns out we've got a broken gearbox. Thomas Enger moving up to second place, setting chase after Roger Graals and the Viper. Diving down the hill towards the double left at Pouhon. Enger takes the lead. Roger Graals knows that the Lamborghini drivers aren't registered for championship points and therefore no need to battle him. Needs to keep Henry Zumbrink behind. Zumbrink comes in with problems though. Loose wheel nut on the left rear, causing a lot of delay for the car. And then he decides he's going to call it a day so it doesn't end up in tears. Another scary moment at Spa. Could have lost a wheel in a high-speed corner, says Henry. Luckily, felt it in one of the slower turns. Wheel nut came a bit loose and really affects the handling badly. Well, from that moment, the race was really over. But I'm third for the points, so we decided to stop after 75% race distance so that we're not incurring any further damage. All of which left Thomas Enger and Yasser Shahin free to win the first race of the weekend.
He made it easy. He had an excellent start to the race. The car was a bit sloppy at the end. The tyres were very off, so good communication meant we just took it easy, but it was a great race. I love this track, best in the world, and to win.
Victory for the Lamborghini pair ahead of guest drivers Niels Bohaus and Jan Storm in the BMW. Third place for Roger Graals and Kelvin Snooks gains them maximum championship points. They also set the fastest lap time in the race. In the GTB division, championship leaders are Patrick Lamson and Donald Molinar with the EMG Motorsport Porsche GT3 Cup car. They score their fifth pole position of the season, extending their lead to 20 points in the standings. Definitely exceeded our expectations, said Donald. I'd hoped for a 27.5 or 27.8, so 26.0 is amazing. EMG Motorsport and Patrick set up the car perfectly. I was still focusing on the next lap, but perhaps I should have realised I'd already got the most out of the tyres, so I'd already set the fastest lap time without realising it. Next time round though, 27.1 in traffic, so hopefully that's good for pole in race 2 as well. Ferdinand Kool in the Corvette, second on the grid in the GTB class. Black and white Porsche, that's Donald Molinar, the pole sitter. Simon Atkinson in third position in his Dodge Viper, having forsaken the Lamborghini. Just behind us, disappointing qualifying for Vard Slice, the BMW silhouette, right there amongst all the Porsches and getting boxed in behind. He was only sixth on the grid and he's soon going to drop out with electronic issues. Battle for second place down into Eau Rouge. And Simon Atkinson keeping the nose of the Viper out of harm's way there, and wisely so. Donald Molinar leads the charge up the hill. Molinar in the black and white Porsche, struggling early on with braking issues. Ferdinand Kool closing up in the Corvette. And the Corvette able to use all its horsepower around the Spa Francorchamps circuit. Little bumping. Kool doesn't get by though, so Milan Doncic will take over in the mandatory pit stops and try and attack Patrick Lamster. Donald was a bit quicker early on, but I caught him up, said Ferdinand. Had a little bit of fun trying to make him make a mistake. Really only had to stay close though. Patrick should be an easy target for Milan Doncic, so I didn't have to push too hard. We're already leading. Hopefully some other championship contenders will come between the two cars and we'll get a few bonus points. Milan Doncic keeps up his end of the deal and the pair claim their 6th win of the season.
We hebben gewonnen, dus ja, dat is altijd wel mooi om mee te maken.
We've won, so that's a great feeling, especially here at Spa, which is such a good track. We've moved closer to our rivals in the championship. That was really our main goal. The reason I was unhappy at Brands, their points lead was growing with every race. Now we finally beat them again and finished 2 spots in front of them. So a great way to start the weekend here at Spa. Simon Axon took 2nd in the race, Lamster and Molinar 3rd. The difference between the leaders and the number 2 team in the championship now just 16 points. Race 2 at Spa for SuperGT and GTB after the break, and there's trouble for some of our title contenders. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Round 7 of the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli at Spa Francorchamps. Race 2 for SuperGT and GTB on a cloudy but dry Spa circuit. 60 minutes the encounter. Kelvin Snooks on pole position in the STR Viper ahead of Jeffrey Van Hooijdonk in the Corvette. Yasser Shaheen's Lamborghini Gallardo, a visiting car, lies up 3rd. Wesley Carranza, 4th place on the grid in the Volvo S60 V8 he shares with Max Cobalt. Henry Zumbrink in 5th position, having retired from race 1, with Niels Bohaus in the visiting BMW Z4, the red, white and black car alongside. Getting ready as the lights change and away we go. Rush down to the first corner. Once more it's the Viper controlling the inside line from the Corvette. Kelvin Snooks turns in front of Jeffrey Van Hooijdonk. On board and up to 3rd place. Great start from 5th on the grid, Henry Zumbrink. You can see the other Volvo of Wesley Carranza behind, as Zumbrink in the light blue car in 4th place behind Yasser Shaheen. Kelvin Snooks leads through Eau Rouge. Jeffrey Van Hooijdonk 2nd. Then Shaheen holding off Zumbrink. Right behind, there is Niels Bohaus. He had a very good run in the BMW. Wesley Carranza pulling away. These Volvo S60 V8s with their Corvette motors, the quickest thing up the straight. And look at that, just going around the Lamborghini. Up to 3rd place, but carrying too much speed in. Henry Zumbrink has to run across the safety area. And he loses 3 places, 4 places. Donald Molinar has gone through, the GTB class leader. So it's Snooks, Van Hooijdonk, and then the Lamborghini back up to 3rd. Safety car is out though. There was a crash on the old start-finish straight, the downhill run, Vard Slice and the BMW Silhouette. Looks like it was a big hit. So replay of the start in the GTB class. Ferdinand Kuhl 2nd on the grid behind Simon Atkinson, and on the outside you just got a flash of the white BMW, but there's someone else out there as well. It's the LMP3 Ginetta. There's a 3-way contact and there's damage. And it's steering damage. The onboard from the BMW shows he's got no control, clatters the barriers, and then gets hit from behind as well. And it was a big hit. The camera in the engine bay shows it clearly. Unfortunately, despite this, Vard Slice is okay.
De klap was enorm en ik denk dat daar al het voorwiel...
So it was a big contact. I think that might have caused the damaged steering. I don't know if it was broken, but I just couldn't control the car. I could only head towards the guardrail on the left. Before I knew it, my car was hit hard from behind by the Lamborghini. And I got smashed into the guardrail, spun back onto the track, and then I'll get hit by my Belgian friends in their Porsche. And it was a big hit as well. It means the end of the race for his Belgian friends, Hans Verhelst and Guy Verheyen. And Verheyen shows his disappointment. He couldn't avoid the impact. Really awful, says Guy Verheyen. On the straight towards Radion, I just couldn't avoid hitting Vard Slice. There was cars going left and right. I thought I'd chosen the correct side to try and get by the incident, but I had to remember that there was cars behind as well, so I couldn't just jink back to the right to avoid the contact. The guys behind, they had no idea what had happened, and you've really got to bear that in mind as well, or it all gets worse. Just happened so quickly. Clearly I got the wrong side, hit Vard in the BMW. It's a shame, really. Unfortunately, the radiator's broken. We're out, you know, in such a short race. We can't fix it and get back out in time. So that's it for the weekend. Well, their race is done. And the safety car finally comes in after a long clear-up, but it's going to have a big effect on the race because it's stopped anybody spreading out. We go green flag racing once more. Henry Zumbrich looking around the outside of the BMW. Donald Molinar alongside him. And dive-bombing Niels Bohaus down into Eau Rouge. Through he goes, little lift from the Volvo. BMW closes, but now the Volvo's Corvette motor is going to just ease away up the hill. Phenomenal horsepower. There's your race leader, Calvin Snooks from Jeffrey van Hooijdonk. Yasser Shaheen in third place. Fourth, Wesley Carranza. Then fifth, Henry Zumbrich ahead of Niels Bohaus, who's been harassed by Donald Molinar. Molinar having a great run in a GTB leading Porsche. Zumbrich now up behind his teammate though. And getting by the BMW on horsepower was one thing. Getting by an identical Volvo on the same amount of horsepower is going to be very different. He's going to have to be canny here to get by Wesley Carranza. Very different car. Carranza raced in a 1 Series prior to this year. This is a very different machine for him. Zumbrich gets a run on the outside. But you saw that Carranza using the wider line out of La Source got onto the power earlier. And so he's got more momentum down into Eau Rouge. Nose to tail they go. And Wesley Carranza doing a great job holding on from Henry Zumbrich here. Runs a little wide out of Radillon and along the Kemmel Straight, the big uphill climb. Around the outside goes Henry Zumbrich. So that's a change for fourth position. The BMW in their slipstream, clinging onto the coattails at the moment. And there is Niels Bohaus. He'll hand that car over to Jan Storm in the mid-race pit stops. But he wants to pick up a place, and down here into Piff Paff through he goes. Carranza has to get on the brakes a little earlier. The BMW exploits its grip advantage to sneak back through to fourth. Carranza and Max Cobalt might get all these places back because they've got no result seconds. The leaders have got loads. Calvin Snooks in the Viper, 55. And Jeffrey van Hooijdonk in the Corvette, 45, and the Viper has not escaped. And as a result, when he comes in, the Corvette right on his tail leaves 10 seconds earlier. Nicholas van Dierendonck already away, and Roger Graals sitting there frustrated before he's allowed to leave. Calvin saying not quite sure how big my lead was. We had a lot of problems with the handling. We've had a perfect car all weekend up to now. Had to deal with a lot of understeer though, so I couldn't build a gap on the Corvette. That was what we'd hoped to do. We'll just have to see how it goes for Roger. Despite their race 1 win, the Lamborghini duo, Thomas Enger taking over from Yasser Shaheen, leading the race after the pit stops. Nicholas van Dierendonck in second in the Corvette. Roger Graals all over the back of him. And with the Lamborghini pair not registered for the championship, this is about maximum points for our title contenders. Max Cobalt in fourth place in the Volvo S60 V8, trying to close in on the leaders as they battle away. And the two American muscle cars really stretching their legs around Spa Francorchamps. Around the outside, up to the bus stop. It's always a tough pass. You need room from your fellow competitor. And Nicholas van Dierendonck gives just enough room to survive to Roger Graals. Lamborghini, though, romps on to win number 2 of the weekend. With only 15 result seconds, Max Cobalt passes Van Dierendonck on the final lap, almost catches Roger Graals for second place, but the Viper driver hangs on at the line, good for the championship points, and very fortunate it's the last lap because by the time he gets to Parc Fermé, he's got a flat tyre on the Viper.
De laatste ronde, vermoedelijk door een lekke band.
Last couple of laps, I think maybe because we had a slow puncture, the lap times are getting worse and worse. I was really worried Max Cobalt got so close in the very final corner. I just managed to hold him off towards the checkered flag. But I tell you what, it was not easy. Without the air in the tyre, it made it very hard coming off the corner. A great atmosphere on the podium, but a fierce battle in the championship continues. Snooks and Graals 13 points ahead, 44 points on offer in the final round at Assen. It'll be all to play for the drivers of our American muscle cars. Enjoying a great weekend so far at Spa. Donald Molinar again leading the GTB class in the black and white Porsche, firmly up in the top half dozen overall. Ferdinand Kuhl battling with the Phantom SF11 of Noel Kohler, the blue car, losing ground to the Porsche though as he does so. Dan Meyer behind, under assault from Simon Atkinson, who's moved up to third in the championship after the exit of Vard Slice. Attacking here, but will lose third gear and drop out of the race during the pit stops with what turns out to be a broken gearbox. After the stops then, the battle on between Patrick Lamster in third place now and Milan Doncha in fourth, Dan Meyer in second, and Marcel van Berlo's Porsche up into the lead. The Corvette using its legs to go by Lamster in the Porsche. The safety car certainly didn't help, as Ferdinand Kuhl says. With 20 minutes knocked out by the safety car, 55 result seconds are a nightmare. You just can't make up for that before the pit stops. I managed to do a few fast laps. Milan's pushing very hard now. He's in front of Patrick and Donald, and that's important, but he needs to get another rival or two if he can between the two cars. So he's got to really push hard in the final 10 minutes. It's going to be quite an exciting finish. I'm going to go and have a look at the live timing screens. Don't think anyone's going to catch leader Marcel van Berlo, but Milan Doncha all over the back of Dan Meyer in the closing stages, desperate to put at least one car between himself and the Porsche of Patrick Lamster and Donald Molinar. All over the back of Dan Meyer. Meyer going very defensive there, and that means he's slow on the exit, down the inside. The Corvette has a little look, going to have to try and use the horsepower of that V8 engine up to the bus stop. Meyer stays in front for the moment. You sense that it may not be over. So many opportunities here at Spa, down the pit straight, looking to go around the outside at La Source, the hairpin. The Porsche covers the inside, cutting back then, getting the drive. The Corvette hooked up and he squeezes by for second place. And it's moves like that that might turn out to be vital for the championship. However, comfortably out front to the checkered flag, Porsche driver Marcel van Berlo claims victory. Safety car came at a perfect time for me, he says. The result seconds hurt the others when it's a full course yellow. They can't extend their lead. After the pit stop, actually I didn't know I was leading. I was just focusing on the cars in front, doing my laps. I'm very happy and actually quite surprised to have won the race. A pleasant surprise, unlike the engine letting go in the last race, which wasn't so pleasant. In the championship, Molinar and Lamster, who finished fourth, are now just 14 points clear, with a maximum of 44 on offer at the final round of the TT circuit at Assen. The SuperGT and GTB titles will be up for grabs. Supersport, Sport and Superlights will be racing at the Formido finals in Assen in the middle of October too. Join us next time out on Motors TV. We'll be reporting on the sports divisions and the Superlights Challenge here at Spa Francorchamps. Bye till then. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems.